Good evening, everybody. Sponge Daddy Hawk here, counting my blessings and naming them one by one. Those of you that are new to this series, I have a myriad of health problems and other problems that go along with it. But rather than focus on those, what I'm doing for every video, I'm going to come up with 365 things that I feel truly blessed to have happened in my life or to have in my life. And I do that rather than focus on the negative. This is going to be video number 27. I have not posted a video for a few days. Sorry about that. This is why I can't, part of why I'm disabled. With my conditions, everything is so unpredictable. And I sat there those nights and said, okay, I'm going to make my video tonight. And then I end up passing out or worse. So the video never gets made. And that's what happened even when I had my own business. I would sign a contract to be somewhere and suddenly I'd be too sick to go work. So that's part of why I'm disabled, but that's my apology. I am sorry. It will happen from time to time. This is video number 27, and it is about my faith. It is going to be part one because the story about my faith and my faith itself is too long to go into one video. Those of you that don't have a faith, now notice I say faith, not religion. Those of you that don't believe in a creator and all of that or whatever, you are welcome to close out this video now. But if you watch, I appreciate you keeping an open mind. I do not believe so much in organized religion because if you look at the people that kill, they don't kill because of faith, they kill because of their religion. Religion only seeks to divide us, whereas faith can unite us all. The simple tenets of all of the faiths of the world, if you combine them and put them together, the world would be a wonderful place, except for religion. I will tell you I was christened either a Lutheran or a Wesleyan. I cannot remember. My godparents were Gary and Joanne Schoenberger. When I was 6, they started dragging me to the Mormon church. Now, I was never baptized in the Mormon faith, but that did form a lot of my belief system. Now, the Mormons have beliefs, several beliefs that I do not go along with, but I respect their right to have them. I never badmouth their faith because let me tell you, if I had to do business with somebody, it would be a Mormon because they are just some of the best people I've met, no matter where I go in my life. Everywhere from Pennsylvania to Texas, every Mormon I've met has been a solid, decent human being. Anyway, after I moved to Kentucky, high school and college, I got this rebellious phase like I am now. It's like I don't believe in organized religion. You let me. I said grace over my food by myself. I prayed in silence, and I just didn't believe in organized religion. I married a sweet young lady who's Catholic. And for the sake of unity and a place to worship, I joined the Catholic Church. And now I don't believe with all of their tenets, but at the same time, I believe a lot of them. And it was wonderful to go and sing and worship. Okay? Excuse me for a second. Sorry, it's one of those days. I slept so much off and on that my liquid intake, I have to drink at least 10 bottles of water a day. Not counting other things, so my liquid intake went down, so I'm having issues. All right, anyway, back to the story. After Kim and I divorced again, I went through a rebellious phase. Now here's where the story gets interesting. First, I'm gonna have to give you some background. My life has been pretty screwed up. Okay, I had a terrible childhood. Okay, I'm not going to say all the things that happened. My closest friends know, the rest of you don't need to know, but needless to say, I still had nightmares about some things. Some people that really hurt me. And then even in high school, after Dad died, Mom and I were pretty much homeless. We had to live with my grandmother. And we were so poor. We were so poor. And even in college, I got a partial scholarship that first year, but I had to work so much for food and other things. I worked 60 hours a week in college. And I actually sent money home to Mom sometimes. But anyway, those challenges had actually, they were what they were. And my friend Tom Sagan said how he built character. And I didn't realize at the time how right he was. Shortly after I graduated, I had this wonderful career for only 9 months. And all of a sudden I got too sick to work. My intestines exploded and I had to have emergency surgery. And I couldn't even walk for a while. And that's some background. Oh, and look, I've had several partners, including my first wife, give their reason for leaving me as my poor health. And taking care of me is a handful, and I do not blame them, and I'll get to that also. Anyway, back to my chronology here. I started doing a DJ gig at the bowling alley one night a week, so I could get free practice. Y'all know the story there. I met a wonderful girl. Her name is Angela Hibbs now, and she would come in for the sessions where I would DJ, and she told me about excuse me, the fact that her Southern Baptist minister happened to move and lived on our road. I said, okay, well, that's great. I wanted nothing to do with it because I didn't believe in organized religion, period. A few weeks after that, it was 4th of July. Rain and I were driving down our road that we lived on, and of course everybody has their U.S. flags out. Well, there was a U.S. flag, and then underneath there was a small Canadian flag. And my late wife, Rain, at the time, she was from Canada. So we got home, and of course she walks down there to talk to these people. And turns out it was Brant Lyons, the Southern Baptist minister that just moved there, and his wife, who just happened to be Canadian. Sorry. Anyway, Rain told me how she talked to them, and they were great people, and they're not pushy about the religion. I was like, okay, that's great, they're wonderful people, but I don't want any part of it. I don't want organized religion in my life. And then about 2 weeks after that, I went into the bowling alley to practice one day, and that church was having a party, and lo and behold, Brant Lyons, the Southern Baptist minister, was there. And I talked to him for a while, and I told my wife, I said, you were right, he really is a great person. And he really was and still is. Love you, Brant, in case you see this. Anyway, it was shortly after that that Rain had terrible pancreatitis, and it got so bad that it turned her type 1 diabetic, and she did not know it. So she went into intensive care, and within 24 hours, her sugar had been so high that it caused her kidneys to fail, and then after that, every organ just cascaded. She was on a ventilator to keep her alive. She didn't even have brainwave activity at the time. And it was the third day, and I was sitting in the waiting area because you can't stay back in ICU all the time. And I was sitting in the waiting area. And I don't know if it was my mother or my stepson Ian had gone down and told Brant, the minister, what had been going on. And it was, on that third day, Rain kept crashing. To the point where they would have to shock her back to life. She would have seizures, and then her heart would stop. Seemed like every 15 minutes. Sorry, I still have nightmares about this. Every 15 minutes, the doctor would come in and tell me, you need to consider shutting off life support. Because she's brain dead. She's no brainwave activity. And I was too upset to even think straight at that time. And into that waiting room walked Brant Lyons. And with him he had their associate pastor named Chuck, who was also a licensed psychologist, a therapist. He did the church's counseling. And there was another time they came in and just told me about her crashing, and I was just so lost. I screamed. I was so mad at God because it seemed like my whole life I'd get a little piece of happiness and then it was yanked away. And I screamed at my Creator, how much do you want one man to have to put up with? I don't need my character molded anymore. Please, I wanted to break. I know Rain was the one suffering, but when you're in a coma, Rain used to tell people that I suffered worse than he did. Because she, of course, didn't feel anything. But Chuck and Brant were so soft-spoken with me. And their words, I don't even remember what they said, but they gave me such comfort. Such comfort. And I promise you folks that within a half a second, my whole life flashed before my eyes. My childhood. Poverty. Sickness, divorce. Suddenly, my whole life made sense. What I'd been through in my youth had given me strength to fight the poverty. Those things combined to give me strength when I got sick and lost everything. Gave me strength of character to go on. And then, of course, my wife leaving, I ended up meeting Lorraine. And all of a sudden, it all made sense. God wasn't punishing me for anything. Yeah, because of my parentage, it's a long story. I used to feel guilty about being born. But I had been trained so that at that moment, with my medical knowledge and my strength that the problems had given me, I could be there for my wife. And the next time that I cried, because all of a sudden it all made sense. I mean, you realize how many times the Creator had pushed me to meet this man. And at that moment when I needed somebody the most, there he was to comfort me. And it was then I realized that the Creator controls everything. God does not roll the dice. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And I had been trained and given a wonderful gift, the gift of comfort. Not just, it humbled me because I suddenly was able to forgive all the people that had left me due to my health issues. And I realized that I now had a gift, a wonderful gift, to comfort people and listen to their problems and inspire the sick to be better people. I gave out all those red clown noses, some of you may remember. I live by a simple code: faith, integrity, sense of humor. Those are the three things nobody can take away from you except you. F-I-S-H. Just remember that. And the hardest thing for people to accept is that your life is not about you. The things you have to endure and the things you live, you expect God to just hand you all this stuff. Well, sometimes you are, just there to serve. We're all here. We should be here to serve each other. And my Creator had trained me and given me this wonderful gift. To this day, I still practice every day listening to people's problems. And I'm so grateful for it. Because no matter what happens with my health, it is as the Creator intends. And I accept it. Because, there's only one king on the chessboard, and it's not me. I'm happy to be a pawn. And those of you that I have helped, you can thank the Creator that trained me and everything I went through, because I would not be here to listen to you and to help you if that had not happened. So, I'm going to stop here in a second because I'll have to go on part 2 tomorrow about my faith. This one will be called my epiphany. I have to give special thanks to Angela Hibbs, Gary and Joanne Schellenberger, Brant Lyons and Chuck, and everyone in my life that trained me to become the man I am, because I love the man I am, finally, because I am the Lord's creation. And so are you. You may not see it, but your suffering has a purpose. And sometimes the hardest thing to accept is life is not about us. But when you realize it's not about you and you are born to serve, you realize you are truly blessed. And so am I. Remember, bad times are inevitable. Misery is optional. Just refuse to be miserable. Soar above the ordinary with the spirit of the hawk. Many blessings. Be well.